That is a feature that actually my early customers suggested. And, my core strategy is always, build stuff that my customers want.
Hey, Bootstrappers! Welcome to Bootstrap Stories, the podcast where founders, marketers, and thoughtful leaders share the most actionable tips on building a successful business. After meeting with hundreds of bootstrappers in the past years, I figured out that we all struggle to grow our businesses. But the truth is that most of us don't know where to ask for help or advice. That's why I decided to start this podcast, to give you all the keys to succeed at every stage of your business. All the tested strategies for solving your struggles and taking your business to a new level. No fluff, no bullshit, only a real talk between friends that help each other succeed. My guest today is Damon Chen, co-founder of Testimonial.to, an online product that helps you collect video testimonial. Hey Damon, thanks a lot for joining us on the show.
Hey Gami, thanks for having me.
I'm super happy. I've been actually following, your journey, and I think it's really exciting to see how you moved, from a safe job at a great company like Cisco and launch your SaaS product. So we will dive into this. I also want really to understand, how you went from bootstrapping and all these things with the ups and downs along the way. And I also want to understand in the end, because that's kind of the goal of your tool, what you think about getting testimonial, why did you decided to launch the product, and why it's important for a business. Sounds good?
Sure. Sounds good.
Awesome. So let's go back to the day where you decided to leave Cisco. How did you manage, to come up to that decision?
Sure. I think I left Cisco May last year in 2021. And that's pretty much 4 months or 5 months after I launched Testimonial. And, even before working on Testimonial, and I started just playing around with my side hustles and during that time I'm still employed. But, because the COVID and back then our daughter was 1.5 years or 2 years old. And, we pretty concerned about her stress, her health. So we decided that, we don't send her to daycare. So she kind of, stayed at home with us 24/7. And my wife also works for her employer. So, we are two day jobbers and also we have little troublemaker at home. So it is extremely hard for us to really maintain our job and also taking good care of our kid. And, I actually got a lot of, mental pressure.
Okay.
Especially I have to, join the stand-up, report to my boss and, but actually I spend most of my time, with my daughter. And I really, my progress from my day job is pretty, just a little bit. And I think that I continue to do this and it's not good for my employer and not good for my daughter. So I can only choose one from them. And of course, our daughter is my top, highest priority. And I think that, and especially, it's only once that for a dad to spend more time with her in her young age. And after that, she grew up and, she may not need me, that much. And so that, I just told my wife and I told my wife that I'm going to quit my job. And because, May last year, April or May, and Testimonial just hit $1,000 MRR. And that's really a, good position for me to, decide whether I should double down on it and just, take some opportunity lost from my, software engineer job and to see if I can grow Testimonial to a much larger scale. And also I got, I don't work for anyone and I could spend more time, with my family. And that seems like a no-brainer for me. And, I just, told my wife I'm going to quit. And she's pretty, supportive. But also, she's also kind of concerned about our financial, status because, previously we got 2 paychecks, bi-weekly. Now we only got one. And I just, I think I made a tweet and I promised to my wife. And I said, oh, if I can't really make 100,000 ARR by end of the first year, and I'm just gonna, fall back to my traditional, software engineer job and look for another job. And I live in Silicon Valley, and it's not really hard for me to get a job.
I remember actually I remember you tweeting and I think it's actually so funny for you to to do this in public and state your goal publicly, to make you accountable for what you did. So to sum up very quickly, you've been an engineer for about 8 years, you know how to code it. So you started building it as a side project. And once you reached 1K MRR, you said it was in May last year?
It was in April last year.
April last year. Okay. So it's been a year. And your goal was okay, within a year, I need to reach this 100K ARR. So now I want to ask you, what's your current ARR or MRR? And
okay, current MRR is 16,000.
Nice.
So I'm pretty just a little bit shy away from 200,000 ARR.
So your wife is happy?
I mean, she must be happy because this is, our decision, not just my decision. And I think, for me, I think especially, just I spend too much time working for a single employer. And I mean, for my project, and I just started for less than 2 years. It's less than 1.5 years. So I think I should, just have the same, dedication compared to working for Cisco. I work for 8 years, work for someone else, and why can't I just keep consistent and work for my own project for a much longer time? So for now, I'm at almost 200K ARR, and I think probably just to start just at the beginning, and I should really focus on the long run.
Yeah, definitely. And you have any employee, or is it just you?
Yeah, just me.
Wow, that's really nice. In just 1 year, it's really fast growth. So for everyone, listening to the podcast, we have a lot of early entrepreneurs or even people who are starting to understand what building public means, even though they grew their company to really million and above. What was kind of your strategy when you got started and started tweeting about what you were doing and all these type of things?
Okay, I think it's very it's also a surprising thing to me because I actually didn't intend to do this kind of build in public, and everything comes surprises to me, because initially the first product that I built is not Testimonial. It is actually a community, but the community is really focused on the video content. Is the audience is pretty much similar to indie hackers.
Okay.
The community is called lonely.dev. Later that I rebranded to Indie Law, where makers, indie hackers all around the world can just record a short video and just post our update. And if we need any help, and others can just give you a hand. So I launched the Lonely Dev pretty much the same time when the COVID just hits. And that's the moment that, our employer asked us to work from home. And, I don't really see anyone else except for my wife and kids. So I kind of feel lonely. So that's why I just bought the domain called lonely.dev. And I at that time, I was also playing around with, those web development stuff. And I tried to create something which can solve my problem, and also just be my hobby, because actually saved a lot of time. If I don't drive to work, and I saved quite a lot of time. I don't have to drive to work, and I don't have to drive back, and it pretty much saved 2 hours per day. So
that's huge.
Yeah. Silicon Valley is crazy, and a lot of traffic jams everywhere. So I just can't avoid. But work from home gives me this kind of opportunity to do something extra. and I built the Lonely Dev. It's a video community, and I actually made a lot of friends from my community, and while building that community, that kind of pushed me to really talk in front of the camera, to really expose myself. And after that, I started to move my attention onto Twitter, because I think Twitter, has much broader audience, and I could, reach a much bigger audience. And, I just share my updates about building my side hustle on Twitter, and gradually, growing my audience.
I think the community on Twitter, is for indie hackers, bootstrappers, is just like so amazing. It's crazy.
That's kind of accidental thing to me, because I think the worst case is for me is I just use Twitter as a tool to document my story, and in future I can just always look back to see how far I grow. But I just didn't expect to grow my audience at this level.
That's really nice.
The thing that I couldn't imagine.
So who were your first customers when you got started?
Okay, the first customer is definitely from Twitter.
Okay.
Testimonial is actually a side project that I launched from my previous project, Lonely Dev. Because Lonely Dev, it pretty much have everything. At Lonely Dev, you can record a video, you can share the video, you can, as a platform, the platform will take care of all the video hosting and streaming. And Testimonial is actually a pivot from Lonely Dev. And the MVP of Testimonial is built really, really fast, and a lot of code is reused. And I launched Testimonial after within 2 weeks.
Okay.
Also launched it on Product Hunt. And back then, similar like Lemonade offer the lifetime deal.
Okay.
It's $199, for the lifetime, and I sold pretty much almost 20 copies, and so that brings me 3,000 or 4,000 revenue in just
nice
2 weeks.
Great way to validate.
That's really great way for me to validate, and I actually see the demand, and I think that someone also suggests me, hey, why not try the subscription model on Product Hunt comments, and I think, oh, why not? Well, maybe I should give it a try, and since then I just only focus on the subscription and sell the subscription plan.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to grow as a SaaS, and it's also a subscription model is just so amazing, because having recurring revenue is just so much more comfortable, and you can see your growth each month after month, and it's really nice. But what from the time where you have this kind of product and launch and those users with the lifetime deal, there is the just after, which is okay, now the launch is done, what do I do? So a lot of founders have this initial traction, and then after that there is always the backside of the curve where it goes down. So what was your strategy after that to go and find new users and grow your business?
For me, actually, collected a lot of initial feedback from my early customers, and initially the first version of Testimonial is pretty crappy, and it's just a tool for my customers to collect videos, but it really lacks a way for them to distribute the testimonials. So the word of love, it really a core feature from Testimonial, which means that my customers, once they collected a bunch of testimonials, they can just embed the testimonials onto their website. So that is a feature that actually my early customers suggested, and my core strategy is always build stuff that my customers want, and it's like rolling the snowball, and if I can make my existing customers happy, and I can just leverage the new feature, the new, this kind of customer satisfaction into acquiring more new customers. So for me, I'm a software engineer, and initially, I'm still very newbie into marketing and sales. And I think, instead of making me a, marketing guru, and why not just really, leverage my existing skill and try to satisfy my customers. And also I got more content into, this kind of building public stuff, and I can share, how I, transform the customer feedback into a live product. And I think that's kind of like a flywheel marketing strategy. I keep getting more content to share, and that brings me more, customers.
Yeah, I think you're like, to me, you're like the perfect example, like you knew you're skilled, like you're a skilled developer, that you know how to make good product. So you're focusing heavily on the thing that you're great at. And at the same time, you're documenting everything like on Twitter and creating content, which brings you like even more awareness and hence more potential users. And down the line, if you make them happy, they're going to recommend you, which brings again like more users. Yeah. And for you, you have more content, so it goes on and on. That's sure. That's really good. And we have like actually like a lot of developers also who are like listening to the podcast. And I remember like having a chat with a developer who was kind of like scared, to get started, because there's always a thing where, you start building, and once it's done, well, you kind of like lose the excitement because you have to do marketing and start like finding people, etc. So what could be like your advice, like to developers who are like getting started and don't know anything about marketing, but would like, to still like see whether or not they can get traction from their SaaS product?
I think a lot of the developers, for me, that is also one of my previous misconceptions, that I think, I'm a software developer, and I'm like standing on the top of the world if I can build anything. And once, I launch a product, and I'll get, millions of customers, and, I got loads of money, and I'll be super rich. But it's not the case, right? So building a business is not just launch a product, and definitely, for developers, and I would suggest, any business is like a long haul. And, if you don't decide to run at least 1 year or two, and, it is always be your hobby to only strengthen your technical skills. But the business has a lot of other, aspect, and you gotta, learn some marketing and sales. And for me, I think to most software engineers, and I think also I've many Twitter friends, friends on Twitter, and they're building crazy stuff all by themselves. And I think for me, I would suggest that instead of building a humongous CRM tool or other kind of tool, just focus on a niche audience and build a niche product to serve a particular needs. And that may help speed up, tackling the market, because, the value proposition is straightforward, and the product is super easy to use. And if you build product like that, and it's also for you to, sell it. And instead of, you build a CRM with, hundreds of integrations, how are you going to sell, right? And you have no marketing guys, and you just by yourself. And I would suggest that build a simple tool, and it's easy enough for you to just kind of validate the market. And after that, all those features can be determined by your customers, and you can just build based on what they want. And instead of, live in your, fantasy software engineer dream that you think, I think that is a cool thing to have. That's a cool feature to have. And why not just I spend couple of months to build it, but after a couple of months, and you see nobody interested in it, and this is also another thing that I would suggest. Just listen to the people who really have the problem and waiting for you to solve it.
And what's interesting in what you said, like I 100% agree. I think like you should start with really like this one single like feature that can really like make it easy for people to understand what your tool or software does, and like have this kind of like niche as a targeting. So what was like or I'm gonna like change the question. So how exactly did you decide who you wanted to target? Did you started thinking about like the niche you wanted to focus on, thinking like, okay, where are the people I would like to work with? Or how did you come up, with this particular like type of people you wanted to target, and where are they also?
Actually, a lot of things have changed. Initially, I think testimonial will be the tool for, this kind of, influencers to get, testimonials from their fans, their followers. But I was actually wrong, because influencers don't need additional social proof, and they already got tons of social proof, and they already have their reputations. And for the influencers, one thing is that they don't need it, and another thing is that they're mostly solo, and one person, and they're pretty price sensitive.
Okay.
If I charge them $20, $30 and per month, and if they don't collect, if they think that the product just couldn't really justify their cost, and they churn pretty quickly. So later that I think, influencers may not be my target audience, and I kind of just dig through who bought, who subscribed to Testimonial, and I think, I found some agencies, and also some marketing department in some SaaS companies, and those people are really buying my service, and also they stay with with Testimonial even longer. So I kind of shift my initial target from solo makers, influencers, into something like the SMBs.
Okay. And one of the thing that we see, like whenever you're targeting either like solo founder or SMBs, and you mentioned it, with influencers, is like the churn issue. And with your product being something that, you might think that, I don't know, like people, once they get testimonial, they put them on their website, and then it's kind of like done. So do you have like a churn issue? Is it something you're like focusing on heavily? Like, how do you address like this type of thing?
Okay. Churn is not, okay. For Testimonial, the churn, for now, I think last month is pretty crazy, because previously the churn is like 2%, 3% something monthly. Last month it was 5%, which I think is not really good. And I actually started collecting the churn feedback, and most people think that it's too expensive, and I also found that most people who churn are very small business.
Okay.
And I also checked their usage, how many videos they collected during their active subscription, and I found that those people who churn actually didn't receive too many videos. Okay. And that's also a reason which also can explain why they churn. And okay. On the other side, I have customers who receive so many video testimonials, and those videos just give their marketing team a lot of marketing assets to deal with. So yeah, for me, I think this will be my future focus as well. How can I just help my customers collect more testimonials,
Maybe you actually have like a new business idea here where you have another platform where you actually pay people to review SaaS or other products, and that way you can sell like those videos to like the smaller business who don't get enough like testimonial from their users.
Not sure if that's the way that I'm going to go after, because I think, testimonial should be a candid review, not like, incentivized.
Paid or
So paid reviews is not something that I will be focused on. And
No, definitely. I was just kidding. But it's interesting because it's I think like, for smaller businesses, like the churn, and it's sometimes some things where you can't if people are price sensitive, it's something that you can't do. Then if people are like really like not getting enough value from your product, and sometimes it's not only like because of the product itself, but more, as you said, like if people don't get testimonial, like some businesses are just like not good and they're trying to get testimonial, but if people don't like them, they're not going to give like those testimonials. So I think it's churn is always whenever I have this discussion with like founders coming on the podcast, the thing like that comes out a lot is really about, okay, how do we make our users like more successful? Or how do we make them, like get the most out of the product? But sometimes a lot of founders have told me that, like it's something that they can't do, that is out of your control. Yeah, true, exactly. True. So it's interesting that you have like the same kind of like reasoning.
Yeah. I think a lot of customers prefer to look forward instead of look backward, and make a better product and deliver more features to also I think the churn also benefits the churn, and because looking back to fix the churn is kind of exhausting, and and it's not really guaranteed to fix it. So I think for me, and especially I'm a one-person business, and I try to satisfy more my existing customers and make things that they want. And maybe that's the thing that my churn customer also want. And I do have some reactivation customers, every month, and maybe they need the platform again, or they found that, I just shipped some feature that is available now, but not available in the past, and they come back. So that's also a way to fix the churn.
I definitely agree. And like we've seen a lot of how reviews can kind of like affect either like the conversion of people like buying and purchasing on a website. So how did you come up with this idea of having people record video for testimonials, and what has been like the effect or impact for your customers?
Okay, the idea definitely comes from myself, because I like building stuff. And I built many side projects. I tried to sell them, but I just couldn't make it. And if you browse some a lot of websites, and of course on their landing page there will be a dedicated review section, testimonial section, and I really want that, but I just don't have too many reviews. And someday that I think I go to Shopify, and I saw a section full of video testimonials, and that really sparked my my interest, mind, and sparked my interest. And I think because I already built Lonely Deaf, people can record a video, and why not? That's also a reason that I kind of pivot the idea from Lonely Deaf into Testimonial. And I think, why couldn't I just build a software to help business collect video testimonials? And as I said, I could reuse a lot of code, and I don't need to spend too much time building the product, and I could really fast to test to validate the idea. So that's the idea come from. I just want to productize the video part into another product, and that's where Testimonial come from, and so that's also where the idea come from.
Nice. And so I'm sure like with your customers, like you've seen a lot of success stories, like you were mentioning, like some of your customers are getting like tons of testimonials like through video and everything. So let's say you're a founder or you're in a marketing team and you want to collect like those video testimonials. What is like the best process to do it? Like if you had to outline, from your experience and what your customers have been doing, what do you see that works really, really well? If we could have like kind of like step by step on the thing that you should do.
Okay, the strategy for me is pretty simple, and because I do have customers send me feedback, request something that they really want, and I will, if I decide to do something, and I will just make the feature or anything, and I will also directly contact them who request the feature and ask for their feedback, and if they say, oh, they really like it, and I will just take this advantage to go one step further, asking for their testimonial, because the customer will be more likely to give you a testimonial when their excitement is at the peak level. So that's true. That's my strategy. So for me, it's like in order to get testimonials, and I have to make a good product. So I can't really just directly go once the customer sign up, and after a month and I don't actually hear anything from them, and I go out for a testimonial. That seems like a not a working strategy for me. So for me, I just directly go after each customer who really feels happy about the product, and I only go ask testimonials from those customers.
So do you? I think it's it's a smart move, definitely. And have you automated the process? Like if you're using Intercom, for example, and getting people who are happy in the chat because they can grade the conversation or whatever. Is it something automated, or do you do this manually?
Not for now, but I just see my customers automate the testimonial, this kind of process, and they build some Zapier zaps, because some of them use some other third-party reviews and Google reviews, Trustpilot, and they set up some trigger, let's say Trustpilot, if someone leave them a 5-star review, but it is text-based, and that would make a Zapier trigger, and that will trigger an email being sent to their customer who left a 5-star review. And so because those 5-star review customers are mostly happy customers, and my customers think that maybe they can just go one step further, asking a video testimonial as well.
And when it comes to the strategy regarding testimonial, do you feel like this is something that should be done every single month, every single year, or what? Because what I've seen a lot is people usually they're gonna have to rebuild their website or do a new landing page, and then they're gonna think, okay, we have, for example, a specific vertical that we want to address. Let's say I'm gonna do a specific product that will address only doctors, so I need testimonial from doctors to build this website. I'm gonna get the testimonials, but once I have 4 or 5 and my website looks legit, it can last for years. You know what I mean? It's the same. So what is, in your opinion, the best way to build the strategy around testimonials, and why it matters to actually do it in the long run?
Okay, as you said, once and let's say one of my customer collect just a handful of testimonials and put it on their website in a word of love, And if they are not my paying customers, and there will be some powered by this kind of branding, and it will redirect visitors to testimonial. So I think it's not a big loss for me if they churn. If they think that I got 10 videos and they just put it on their website, and they don't really concern if or not the widget has my powered by logo, and I think that's fine to me. And at least it shows website visitors that
it's a backlink.
It's a backlink, and also a kind of validation, social proof to my product as well, because this website owner collect these 10 videos from testimonial.to, and maybe I can do the same. So it's not only backlink, but also kind of a proof to my business, and it made other visitors think that they can also collect videos from testimonial.to.
No.
And another thing that I would say is testimonial is some kind of a marketing assets, and especially in some marketing department in some companies, and they need some refresh content, so that they some companies may use the video testimonial to run some paid campaigns, and they can't really just use one person all the time to just run ads again and again, right? So this some they need some refresh
testimonials. And okay, and have you seen any really interesting companies doing a different strategy when it comes to testimonials? So I don't know, it could be because you're working with bigger companies and everything. So I'm curious, have you seen companies running, those campaigns, testimonial campaigns on very specific features they've developed or new things, and then run it on different verticals and testing things? What's the best use case you've seen so far with getting more and more testimonial each month?
One thing that I observed from a very big companies is that as you said, they have a lot of product lines, and whenever they launch something new, they just add the testimonial link into their marketing campaign emails, and they have millions of users, and sometimes my monitor keeps shows some crazy peak
CPU
about the traffic, and at that point I know that it must be some big companies that just send their testimonial link to their customer base. Add the email, add the testimonial link to their emails. And also, there's some other interesting use cases that I observe. Has nothing to do with the testimonial, but some companies, occasionally they have some employee retire, and because people all work remotely and really can't see each other, so they just create a testimonial campaign and send it to other employees, and for them to record best wishes in a video.
That's actually an interesting use case.
Send it to the retired employee.
You should do a testimonial for birthday or something like that.
Yeah, maybe tackle different segments.
Yeah, that could be interesting. And before we go back to kind of recapping everything, I'd love to talk also about your life as a solo founder, because as bootstrap entrepreneur, we all have ups and downs, and going back to when you first started and you have this 1K MRR, which is definitely great because it shows traction, but at the same time you're living a really high paid job, and you're on your own, and you kind of challenge yourself to build in public and say that you have 1 year to reach that 100K. What were for you the toughest time during this 1 year of kind of challenging yourself to reach that goal? Did you feel the pressure? Did something go wrong? Can you maybe share a few stories?
I think challenge is actually every day. I would say every day is like, especially in the early days. And, I just got so many feedback, and especially for me, it's just a one person business. How can I prioritize what's the thing that I should do the next? That's actually a lot of challenge. And for me, previously I tend to do things really fast. I mean, as long as I got some people asking for something, I could really ship the, stuff within just a few hours or maybe just minutes. And that really exhausts me. And later that but that's the lesson that I have to learn. And later that I realized that, I got a huge backlog, and how can I really prioritize stuff? I can't really ship, everything that my customer want, and I should determine what I should do based on the demand, based on or some, whether the thing that I'm doing will have huge impact on my revenue. So yeah, early days it's kind of like some chaos, and it's kind of like a mess. But later that I learned how to prioritize stuff. But it's still really busy to me, and I would say every day is like I will go to bed in the midnight or 1 a.m. in the morning and get up early because my kids won't allow me to, my kids always wake up at 7 a.m. So I got...
They keep you on your toe.
Yeah, chill. So, yeah.
So what tips could you give to people, who are in the same spot of, getting tons of feature requests, and because you are obviously like a builder and a developer, it's also really exciting, to say people want something, you really see the value, you want to build it, but if you look at your backlog, tons of things to do. So how exactly do you prioritize right now? What are the things that you were doing in the past that you are not doing anymore? Can you maybe give a bit more tips?
Yeah, for me, if a feature is asked by a customer which really has nobody else asked for it, and I always put it on hold until more similar request comes in, and I always tell my customer, I put a note from what they ask, and I will wait for more similar demand, and I'll also keep them posted if I decided to work on it. So yeah, I prioritize stuff based on the first
the amount of requests.
Yeah, the amount of the requests, and also as I said earlier, if a feature that I think will have huge impact on my revenue, if I ship something to the premium plan, and someone in the premium plan really wants to have the the feature, and they got to upgrade to access the feature. So yeah, and another thing, maybe just some guts, right? Some follow my guts, and that's my vision too.
It's nice to hear a developer saying that, because usually sometimes people are very trying to be super data oriented, etc. And I do feel sometimes as an entrepreneur, following your gut is really important, because when you have such a small customer base, etc. in the early days, data will not teach you anything. It's your gut that will drive the business. True.
And I think just follow my guts. If I think the testimonial is going through that direction, and I'm going to build this kind of ABC to fulfill my vision, and I'm gonna do that. If things works, and means maybe I did something good, and that's why I'm lucky, right? if things didn't work out, and not a big deal, right? So I'm a one-man business. I can pivot pretty fast. I don't have
you're agile,
really complicated. Yeah, really agile. Yeah, so. Yeah, if things didn't work out, just some lessons to learn, and that can help me in the future.
Nice. Really like the mindset. I think we had like another like great chat with tons of learnings. I usually close like the episode with 3 questions. So the first one I have for you is, what's your favorite book or podcast that you would recommend to other like bootstrap entrepreneurs?
It's a book. It's called The Intelligence Investor, written by Benjamin Graham.
Okay.
And not sure you must heard about him. He's also the teacher of the famous Warren Buffett, and he is also the father of the value investing. And previously, when I work at as a software engineer, and for 8 years, and I got some of my savings, and I like to use my savings to invest money in the stock market. And I used to do a lot of day trading, this kind of stuff, quick buy and sell. But that really brings me less profit, or even worse, I could possibly lose my money. And after I read The Intelligence Investor, and I think that I should really, position myself in the value investing. And I should really, if I buy a stock, and I would hold it at least, for several years. And, that's why I later bought some Tesla stock, and, that really brings me huge profit. And I think the same thing also applies to building a business, and the same strategy, the value investing. And I should really, find a niche market which is underserved, and I should really build a better solution for them to use. And in terms of the long-term investing, and I should also, for my business, I should really just be patient and run my business at least for several years to see a big return.
Nice. Yeah, I really like this approach, and makes sense.
Yeah.
And who's your favorite bootstrap founder, and also why?
I think it must be Peter Levels. Yeah,
I understand.
He's the guy really inspired me, because previously I think I'm really narrow-minded, and I live in a world full of software engineers around, and all I could see is just I have to climb the career ladder, from junior software engineer to senior software engineer to manager or whatever, and that's the way that I could make a living. But after I see Peter, and he built he's also one man business. He built side projects, and he lived in a decent living with a very decent income, and that really opened up my mind. And that just tells me there is a possibility that I don't really have to work for anyone. I could build my own stuff, and just to make a living, make a salary out of this kind of thin air, and maybe provide a better life for my family. So he's the guy really inspired me to, especially his 20 startups in 20 months, to 12 startups in 12 months.
Cheaper,
and,
yeah.
So that's why I should, keep building stuff, and keep strengthening my technical skills, and also, gradually improve my marketing skills. And that's really a good thing to start.
Nice. And the last question is, what is the one thing you do to regain energy during tough times?
I think, spend more time with my daughter is definitely, cure me, especially during my hard times, because every time, she's 3 years old right now, and, she's still like a blank paper, and, in her eyes, in her brain, there's really nothing to worry about. And I just, I try to pretend myself to look at things the way that, she looks at things. And, there will for sure be some hard times, but, there will also be a solution out there. Is, if I'm at the bottom of my life or whatever, and things can always, go better after that. So my daughter, I would say, because I do everything for my family, and, if I depress myself, what's the point, right? Yeah. So I should make myself a better person, and also make my family a better life.
Nice. Really enjoyed our chat. I think what you've done so far is really like inspiring for, you know, like tons of entrepreneurs getting started, what you've accomplished in 1 year, the risk you've taken, how you build things in public. I really loved it. And thanks a lot for sharing all these tips with us today.
Thanks, Cami.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you for listening to the Bootstrap Stories, the only podcast where bootstrap entrepreneurs share their journey in all transparency. If you enjoyed this episode, don't hesitate to leave us a review. And in case you want to see the interview, all episodes are live on the YouTube channel. Check out the link in the description and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Have an amazing day and make sure to also join us in our amazing Bootstrap community where we all helped each other to become successful and grow a profitable business. Take care and talk to you soon.